Hello everybody, I've got something slightly different for you today because I didn't get many dinosaurs apart from the ones that was very kindly sent as a surprise by my subscriber for Christmas. However, I did get this calendar from Dragons of Wales, which I got for Alan to give to me, and contained within this mystery envelope. Now, I love Dragons of Wales stuff. He's done some fabulous books which kind of illustrates the possibilities. It's a bit all yesterdays. They illustrate the possibilities that we are probably missing in terms of how conservatively we reconstruct dinosaurs, looking at modern analogues such as birds and reptiles, but also mammals. There's a whole lot of unexpected soft tissues and things. And I've been a long time follower of Andy at Dragons of Wales, and he never fails to surprise me with some wonderful stuff. So I thought I'd pop this open and share it with you today. I've got absolutely no idea what was contained within this. This is not something that I ordered. This is an extra. Okay. So what I've got in here is, thought you'd appreciate a little Allosaurus. Now the irony here is today I was actually going to have a bit of a fun look at my Allosaurus collection with you as well, after, you know, my subscriber very kindly gave me these ones in my latest parcel. So let's have a look and see what Andy has put in here for me. Thank you very much, Dragons of Wales. Now, these illustrations are always absolutely stunning. It might not be scientifically rigorous, but that's not the point. The point is to show, oh wow, I very much do appreciate this. Thank you so much, Dragons of Wales. This is a stunning, stunning illustration of Allosaurus. The camera really isn't going to do that justice. That stunning signed original, that is exceptional. Of my favourite dinosaur. And the irony being that I've got my entire Allosaurus collection around me, because I'm going to have a little fun look at that with you today. So this is a big shout out to Dragons of Wales. You can find him on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, the usual places. He does do absolutely phenomenal artwork, and he does other things as well. Of course, he does these dragons, but I mean, for that's like a bonus Christmas present, which has just absolutely blown my mind there. Another one worth following is also Steve White, but I'll go into that at another time. Now, you all know that Allosaurus is my favourite dinosaur, and I was out of collecting dinosaurs for quite a long time. You know, I hit 17 and felt that all my dreams were shattered, and it wasn't until I saw this figure, because I never lost my interest, it wasn't until I saw this figure by Papo of all companies that my interest was reinvigorated, because I knew there were some good dinosaur figures out there, but I'd never seen one that looked so much like, you know, this prowling, predatory, dangerous animal, this representation of Allosaurus. And yes, it's a bit awesome, bro, and it's totally inaccurate, but this is the dinosaur figure which kicked off my collecting again in earnest, and now I've got quite a few of them. So I'm going to go through them today and show you them. I've got this monster by Kyoto with its incredibly stiff static pose. I'm not too sure if you can still get this kit. It's a large hollow vinyl Allosaurus. I bought it pre-painted. There was two versions. This is supposed to be the green version. There was a brown version too, and this looks more kind of like greys and yellows to me, with a smattering of brown. Again, perhaps a little bit over the top in terms of the reconstruction, but the head shape and everything there is lovely. Perhaps a little on the wide side. An absolutely gorgeous figure. Very much worth having because it's got so much character and presence and personality. I do love these big hollow vinyl figures for that, and it's such a nice figure to have as well. He tends to live up on the top shelf. I thought I'd bring him down today so he can be amongst his friends. So following that, in terms of Allosauruses, I think the next one I got was this one from W Dragon. Now again, it's in a slightly peculiar pose. It's not particularly scientifically rigorous. In fact, it's not remotely scientifically rigorous in that the head does not fit any non-skull material as far as I can tell, but it's a great looking figure, and this after all is the figure that started me off on doing this channel, so we're having a very Allosaurus themed day today. And it is a beautiful figure. I did a different version. This was a limited edition, but there was nothing with it to show that it was a limited edition. There was nothing on the packaging, there's no markings on the figure at all. So, you know, it's a limited edition, but how limited is it really? There's nothing to say whether or not it is. Following that, I've got this one. Now, it's a bit of a shame that this company doesn't seem to have released any further figures. They're a Spanish company, and they seem to be just sort of starting out. I can't even remember what the company was called. I'm pretty sure I have done a review of this figure, because I mean it's got its quirks. It's slightly peculiar, it's a bit chunky, it's a little bit childish in some ways, but if you look beneath the surface of it, you've got a really good Allosaurus figure here. Yes, the paintwork might be a little bit ropey. I could probably tidy that up. There's probably a lot of things you could do to fix the jaws. I did see some people do some tremendous customs of this figure, the proportions and everything. It's made out of a very hard material. I think what put a lot of people off at the time was the price, because it is a beautiful looking figure, the proportions and everything are excellent. You know, it's got a great big hand claw and its articulated jaw, which is a little bit it's not the best, but you know, this is a lovely figure. And they were doing a Spinosaurus which looked fantastic, but whether or not that ever happened, I'm not particularly on social media. I've not been on Instagram for a very long time. I am on there, but I don't pay attention. I'm not on the Dinosaur Toy Forum or anything like that, so I am a little bit out of the loop when it comes to new figures and new companies coming out. Of course, we've got PNSO's beautiful Allosaurus here. Again, there are one or two faults with this figure. I mean, apart from the fact that the jaws, they do seem to overclose the jaws on the theropods, and you get the sort of goofy look to them. I don't know if the camera will focus on the dinosaur itself there. Nope, it doesn't want to focus on the dinosaur. It's very irritating. Come on, focus on the Allosaurus. Nope, it's going to focus on me instead. Sorry, everybody. But it's a beautiful, sinuous figure. Lovely proportions. PNSO are very good at that. What they strangely fluffed on with this one was the thumb claw. Allosaurus is known for having these powerful arms. I mean, the proportions here, the neck and everything are, you know, it's pretty much spot on. How on earth they missed the thumb claw, which was, you know, one of Allosaurus's primary characteristics, I've got no idea. You know, a company like PNSO, you'd expect that they wouldn't miss something like that. They are a scientific institute after all, but there we have it. Beautifully painted figures, beautiful bright blue eye there. Mine's had one or two scuffs which I've had to touch up in time. The paintwork on this one does seem to be a little more fragile than PNSO generally are, because I'm normally pretty bomb-proof, but not in this case. Then next, this one is also a work in progress, and this is another one that came from my subscriber, and I never quite got around to finishing it. I was intending to make it look like a cute cartoon version of the PNSO one. This is something to work on. I'm on holiday at the minute. I might do a little bit more on this little guy, because he's beautiful. He's absolutely adorable, and he deserves to have a bit more attention paid to him. You can see I've got the blue eye going on there, but I'm not the greatest artist, and it'll just take me a little while to get around to things. Now finally, the last two Allosauruses I've got are ones which I hadn't picked up and added to my collection, but my subscriber has very kindly given them to me. And one of them is the little collector figure from last year. In profile, this one looks quite good, although the collector seem to be doing this thing where they make the limbs incredibly skinny. There's not a lot of muscles at the calf there, and I mean, dinosaurs had these great big quadrifemoralis muscles, like great big calf muscles. They had huge thigh muscles, particularly in the case of, you know, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is a familiar one. But however, it does have the hand claw. It's a very narrow figure. That's another thing collectors tend to do. They tend to flatten them a bit, sort of laterally, which is a slightly peculiar take to have in these figures. But it's really, generally, a very nice, very detailed little figure. I like this little ridge along the back. It's a bit Ceratosaurus, but you know, there's nothing to say that maybe they didn't have. I mean, people didn't realise that sauropods had all sorts of lumps and bumps and spines and crests until you find skin impressions, you know, which are quite definitive. It's probably all sorts of things we didn't know. So it's a really pleasant little figure, and it has exceeded my expectations. Now I've got it in hand. Ultimately though, the one that has most exceeded my expectations is this one from Safari Limited. So I'd held off on getting this one because I'd seen pictures of it, and it's not very photogenic, if I'm honest, and it wasn't what I wanted from an Allosaurus. It looks a bit sort of clunky, the pose looks a bit naff, and you know, but ultimately Safari Limited, these are designed as toys. They are some of the best figures you can get despite that, and Safari are a fantastic company. If you look at the skull proportions are brilliant with this. Yes, the details might be a bit basic, the neck might be a bit short, the posture is a little bit off-putting, but it's got the lovely thick tail that Allosaurus had. The thumb claw, again, is severely blunted on this one, which is a bit of a shame, a bit of an oversight, but overall, you know, this is a good chunky representation of Allosaurus. Perhaps not the best one out there, I'm not too sure there is a definitive Allosaurus out there yet, especially not for me as a big fan of Allosaurus. I think the closest thing you can get for me is what Dragons of Wales has given me here today. So I'm absolutely delighted with that, and I hope you've enjoyed having a look through my Allosaurus collection with me. If there are any other figures of Allosaurus out there that you think I might like, please let me know. I was waiting for my Beasts of the Mesozoic 1/18 scale Tyrannosaurus Rex and the two 1/35 Walking with Dinosaurs limited edition from the Kickstarter to arrive today, but unfortunately there's been a delay with the postage, but they will be coming later this week, so I'm greatly looking forward to that. I would also like some 1/18 human figures to go with my Beasts of the Mesozoic, and I'm particularly keen on Star Wars and things like that, so if anyone knows any decent humanoid or robot figures, I have got a 1/18 Robocop ED209 figure to compare with my Beasts of the Mesozoic T-Rex when it arrives. But if anybody's got any other figures that I think I might like, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you all very soon.